How do we find the GCF for more than two numbers? We can find the greatest common factor for as many numbers as we want by using the methods we have learned. We can use factor lists. First, I will start by listing the factors of 20, 25, and 30. Here are the factors for 20, the factors for 25, and the factors for 30. Now I just look to see what factors they have in common, and I see they have 1 in common, and they have 5 in common. Since my common factors are 1 and 5, I then decide which one is the largest, and indeed it is 5, so 5 is my GCF. I can also look for patterns when I'm trying to find the GCF. For instance, are they all part of the same multiplication or division fact family? Let's look at 14, 21, and 28 as an example. I can start with 14. I know that 7 times 2 equals 14, and 14 divided by 7 equals 2. For 21, I know that 7 times 3 is 21, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. And finally, for 28, I know that 7 times 4 is 28, and 28 divided by 7 is 4. Because 7 is definitely a factor for all three of these numbers, that's a hint that perhaps 7 might be the GCF. I can confirm this by listing out the factors for all three of my numbers. And when I do that, you can see that they have 1 in common, and they have 7 in common, and indeed 7 is my GCF. I can also use divisibility rules to find the GCF. For example, let's look at 18, 24, and 36. I can look at all of my numbers and apply the divisibility rules, so I know that all three of them are divisible by 2 because they end in even numbers. I know that all of them are divisible by 3 because I add the digits together and I get a number that's divisible by 3. I know none of them are divisible by 5 or 10, and that because both of them are divisible by 2 and 3, they're also divisible by 6. So this tells me that 6 is a common factor, 3 is a common factor, and 2 is a common factor. So I have a clue that 6 could be the GCF for 18, 24, and 36. I can now list the factors for my three numbers and see what they have in common. So I see they have 1 as a common factor, 2, 3, 6 is a common factor, and nothing else. So this does tell me that indeed the GCF is equal to 6. So to review, there's 3 ways that I can find the GCF. I can use factor lists and compare those factor lists. I can find a pattern. Perhaps they have a common factor in terms of what fact family they belong to. And I can look at the divisibility rules that they have in common. All 3 of these methods will allow you to find the GCF. Now that you have listened to this video, try the 2 problems on the second page of the interactive text.